Let's get started in the first startup pitch battle of the morning. This time, it's future of materials and manufacturing. First to go is Willi Peter, co-founder and CCO of Co-reactive. Good luck. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much. So I'm Willi, co-founder of Co-reactive, and I'm happy to introduce you to how we at Co-reactive are building a carbon-negative future by turning CO2 into high-performance building materials. We all know a view just like this. What we mainly see here is concrete, the second most used material on Earth, right after water. The most critical component of concrete is cement. And cement is responsible for 8% of global CO2 emission. Now, this is only a fact. However, if we're increasingly putting a cost tag on those emissions, cement production costs are increasing significantly, in fact, doubling over the next decade. So the industry is looking to two solutions. They are investing heavily in carbon capture and storage, creating a new waste stream that just adds cost to the value chain. And secondly, they are looking for alternative raw materials. However, these materials are decreasing in availability, and so you can say these solutions are not really what is needed for the problem. And that's where we come into place, because we use abundant available CO2 from the cement production source, any other point source, biogenic, direct air captured, combine it with abundant mineral feedstocks that can either be industrial secondary raw materials or primary minerals, and through our CO2 mineralization process, produce a material that per ton has 330 kilograms of CO2 bound to it, and can then be used as a cement substitute in the cement mix or in its final concrete application without losing strength in the final application. We have not only proved that concept in the lab, having a prototype operating for over 900 hours, producing material, having customers testing the material, but we are now moving into demonstration plant, currently commissioning our 1,000-ton demonstration plant, expected to produce by July this year. We have already financed our commercial first of a kind with a partner co-locating at a steel site, where we will then produce 10,000 tons and then move into industrial scaling across the industry. In the team, we combine a PhD in CO2 mineralization, plant engineering and scale-up know-how, as well as the commercial and financing experience to turn CO2 into opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Willi. Now there's 2 minutes for jury questions. Jury, any questions? There's one. Wait for it, if you can wait for the mic.
Hi, it's Gabriel Cura with Prelude Ventures. You didn't mention anything about cost, either now or in the future.
Yes.
Can you go into that?
So currently with the demonstration plant, we are roughly 2x cement production costs. With the commercial first of a kind, we are cost parity with cement production costs, and at industrial scale, we are roughly 50% cheaper.
Any other jury questions here?
Yeah, sorry, Will from Climate Investment. So it looks like the model is to sort of scale up these facilities and the projects. Do you have an approach to keeping this fairly capital light, or is it going to be quite intensive?
Yeah, great question. The vision is to have that technology licensed to our partners, specifically in the cement industry. However, we're knowing that these are not the fastest moving companies. Therefore, we also keep the lane open to deploy the assets ourselves and produce the material, especially then providing that material down the value chain where we actually generate more profit per ton. So gives us both options open, but the vision is clear to not build, own, and operate these assets ourselves.
Any other jury questions?
Hey, Arfa from Klima. Question on differentiating yourself compared to competitors, because there's plenty of companies doing mineralization. Where do you see yourself differentiating?
Yes, our IP is on the process design. So we have a design that is made from the ground up to produce at low cost at high volumes. And our competitors mainly use state-of-the-art production mechanisms. So for example, batch autoclave systems that they try to scale. However, we have a continuous tubular reactor system where our IP sits on that allows us in the first place to produce at costs that make it viable for the industry.
Perfect. Thank you, Willi, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next up in the challengers, it's Sid Pourfalah, founder and CEO of Concrete for Change.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sid, and I'm CEO of Concrete for Change. We rebranded to Vugt recently, so that's why you have a different name here. So we are here to address the emission from two different sectors, construction and chemical industry, responsible for 25% of global emission. And the problem we try to tackle is mainly having a product which doesn't need higher adaptation cost, is not more expensive than market price, and it doesn't have limitation in terms of feedstock and also regulatory barrier. So we can take the flue gas from different industry, including cement, including energy sector or refinery, and mix that with different calcium-rich waste, i.e. gypsum waste, and then develop a product, which two different products. One of them is a product can be used in construction, is a type of reactivated calcium carbonate on a stable crystal, and that's our novelty. And the second product is a co-product coming out of the system and is a fertilizer. So our product for construction, we call that GypCarb. It can be partially substituted, cement can be partially substituted with our product. Concrete will be around 20 till 30% cleaner. It will be cost neutral for consumer, and it improves the mechanical property of concrete as well. In terms of fertilizer, again, we have a product 20 till 30% cleaner compared to market standard, and it's the same price. And finally, for each tons of product, GypCarb, which we are making, we are sequestering around 500 kg of CO2. We have a very significant traction in both construction and fertilizer, namely both Halsom and Goldbeck are our investor and early adopter, and we are working together to make the first plan. We have a well-balanced of team in construction, in chemical industry, and scale-up and industrialization. We are one of the very limited company which can work with the flue gas and won't have any limitation which coming for using of purified, liquidified CO2. We started the journey 2 years ago for this product, and now we have our pilot plant and moving to demo plant in a few months. And in terms of cost, we are not relying on any type of green premium, and final cost will be at the same level of market when we reach to industrial level. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Sid.
You're welcome.
Any jury questions? No jury questions? Sid, I think you, one, yeah.
Arfa from Klima, thanks for your pitch. Just one question on fertilizer product. How does it compare to whatever else the customers are using today?
Because it's a co-product coming out of the system, it's significantly more pure in terms of like some product have 1 or 2% different element, but ours is extremely more clean, and we can sell that at a premium in terms of having no kind of pollution in the product, basically.
Yeah, sorry, Will from Climate Investment. Maybe just this process to get the vaterite from the waste, where's the protectability and defensibility around
We have, I think it's 3 different folds. The first one is we have a patent for the whole procedure, already is granted in the UK, now is in PCT stage. We will multiple patent as well coming for a scale-up, for concrete chemistry, and for different element. There are basically unregistered IP as well. You can make vaterite, but is a different particle size from a few nanoparticle till 100 millimeter. And it should be well balanced, plus you have different type of vaterite, 4 different types. So it's unwritten, and plus it's 3 years we are working with the partner. So being pioneer in the market is really important. Like Goldbeck is running tests with us for 3 years. And if they like to switch to someone else, they should repeat all of those procedures as well. So it's like protected through different layers.
I was just a little, Gabriel Cura with Prelude Ventures. I was just a little bit confused. Do you drop right into the Portland cement supply chain, or are you a replacement for Portland cement?
Sorry, just 7 seconds. I can see that. I try to make it really fast.
No,
is a plug-in system. So we can, like a modular, sit in the cement industry and then take their CO2, which is the plant with Halson. We are looking at having the first industrial plant in south of Germany. And then we have an end product, the vaterite, that they can mix with their cement and use that. So basically, we are not competing or reducing their production line.
I'm going to have to cut you off there.
No
Sorry.
way. We complement that.
Thank you, Sid, for your presentation. Next up, we have Sabrina Scott, COO and co-founder of Cura Climate. Welcome on stage.
Excellent. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Sabrina Scott, COO and co-founder of Cura, where we are decarbonizing cement today. As you all know, cement accounts for 8% of global CO2 emissions. The reason for this is because of the calcination of limestone. When you heat the feedstock used to make cement, the CO2 mineralized in the rock is released. This makes cement rather challenging to decarbonize because it's not a matter of just electrification or fuel switching. Many have offered solutions to decarbonize the industry, whether that's using supplementary cementitious materials, alternative binders, or alternative feedstocks. These have limitations in the sense that they either have marginal impacts on reducing the carbon emissions from the industry, or will take a very long time to scale and deploy. The industry is also really betting on carbon capture and storage retrofits, but these are estimated to cost billions of dollars and will increase the cost of cement 2 to 3 times, which has massive downstream impacts. So we have a massive potential to decarbonize the market today, which is estimated to be about $500 billion globally. And with increasing CBAM regulations, the industry is under massive pressure to decarbonize today. At Cura, we offer a solution that is pre-calcination carbon capture, where we take limestone, the industry standard feedstock, and use our electrochemical technology to split it into pure CO2 and decarbonize cement. We retrofit within existing operations, plugging in before the preheater pre-calciner, producing a zero carbon lime product that can be embedded into the raw meal mix to produce low carbon cement products. We can achieve up to 85% decarbonization, which has been validated by a third party. And our solution ultimately is supply chain ready, enabling the industry to use industry standard feedstocks to produce industry standard building materials. And the reason why we can do this is because of our proprietary Cura Light technology that gives us world-class energy efficiency, allowing us to compete with commodity pricing. We have a very aggressive development roadmap. We have already deployed or built our mini pilot, which is a 5 kilogram per day production unit. We have completed engineering for our pilot, which is 100 ton per year production capacity. And we are currently raising our seed, an $8 million seed, to build that pilot and deploy it with our partners on site in Alberta. Our seed will also go towards demo engineering, which is our actually first commercial unit. This will be a revenue generating unit scaled at 30,000 tons per year. To support this unit, we are also entering a JV with our partner in Alberta to build and deploy it. And this will be deployed by 2028. This will then lead to us being able to deploy on-site with the cement operations by 2029 and full-scale market penetration by 2030. We have had red-hot market traction with multiple MOUs signed, and our team is backed by over 50 years' experience in mining, metallurgy, and scaling carbon technologies for innovation. Thank you all, and I hope you all join us in decarbonizing cement today.
Thank you, Sabrina, for your pitch. Any jury questions? There's two here.
I was just wondering how the solution compares on cost compared to other players.
Yeah, so with our solution, once we get to scale, we'll be able to compete with commodity pricing. So our cost of production is comparable with current cement manufacturing.
Hey, thanks for the pitch. Just quickly on commercial traction, can you talk a little bit more about what stage they are at and what happens soon after your pilot?
Yeah, definitely. So we have 6 MOUs signed with across the industry, so construction companies, infrastructure developers, concrete producers, and cement producers. What these MOUs cover is from cement testing, piloting, and then also deployment and commercial negotiations for integrating our technology into their facilities. So success with these early phases of validating our cement product and prototyping will lead to then these joint developments and eventually commercial offtakes of our technology.
Any other jury questions?
Hi, Will from Climate Investment. I didn't understand the revenue model. Are you selling equipment to the plants, and then what are you doing with the CO2? Who owns that?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So for our technology, because it's hard tech, we have to go through this scaling pathway. So we'll go through multiple JVs in order to support scaling the technology up to full-scale deployment. So, cement operations, easily a megaton production facility. Once we get there and validate and fully de-risk the technology through these partnerships, we're looking at transitioning into being a equipment manufacturer and licensor.
And the CO2, is that your responsibility to deal with? Or
That'd be our customers, yes. Okay. Yeah.
Any other jury questions? All right. Thank you, Sabrina, for your pitch.
Thank you.
Next up in the pitch challengers, we have Andy Wynn, CEO of Flexiramics. Welcome on stage.
What a start. That's a good start. Hi, everyone. My name's Andy Wynn. I'm the CEO of Flexiramics, and we produce flexible ceramics, which are revolutionizing the electronics industry. So most people think that 5G and AI devices are limited by chips. They are not. They're limited by the material underneath them. So all devices are built on printed circuit boards, reinforced by glass fiber. And that's fine in the past with simple devices, but with today's high-frequency devices, that glass fiber causes problems. It traps heat. It causes signal loss. And this is a problem that's causing $60 billion of wasted energy for the industry. Now, at Flexiramics, we replace that glass fiber with our unique ceramic fiber fabric. The results are dramatic: 75% reduction in signal loss and 5 times better heat dissipation. And it's a drop-in replacement, same manufacturing process. Why does it matter? Because demand for these devices is exploding. And glass really holds that back. Not only is it reaching the limits of its technical performance, there's also a major supply bottleneck in the industry. That's why the industry is looking for alternatives right now. So our go-to-market as a business is to target where value is highest, AI hardware. We partner with PCB manufacturers and their customers. And because we're a drop-in solution, adoption's relatively quick. So we are already in pilot production. We've got over 360 customer prospects in the pipeline, and we're already delivering early revenue. So the market is significant. Glass fiber in PCBs is around $5 billion. Our target is the high-frequency part, so that gives us a $500 million market entry point. As a team, we have deep materials expertise. We also have decades of proven customer execution. We're currently raising 60 million euros to scale production, to complete our customer qualification, and to turn that early adoption into regular revenue. So, Flexiramics is a once-in-a-decade opportunity to lay a new foundation for high-performance computing. We can reduce cooling energy loss by 30%, and that's going to reduce CO2 emissions by 300 million a year, and enable the next generation of AI and communications. So if you're looking for a high-impact investment in this space, then please, let's talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy, for that presentation. Any jury questions?
Thanks, Andy. Arfa here from Klima. Question on your production process. How do you make these flexible
It's a
materials?
chemical route. It's a sol gel process. We spin fibers, dry fibers, lay down non-woven, continuous belt, heat treatment. Our process is much less energy requirement than making glass fiber. It's about 30% lower cost, and we're about parity on terms of pricing in the market.
One question over here.
Hi, Summit from Compass. Thank you for the pitch. I was curious if you could speak a little bit about the partnership structure you have with the PCB manufacturers, how that affects your CapEx and also revenue sharing.
Well, we produce the whole manufacturing process for PCBs is roll to roll. Today they buy a roll of glass fiber. I think I showed a picture. They would just buy our roll. So we are a raw material supplier. So we have, I think it showed on the slide, we already have 5 letters of intent. Our model is simply to sell them raw materials. So we're going to be replacing, instead of buying glass fiber, which they're struggling to buy now because there's a supply bottleneck, they're going to buy ours instead. So it's a shoe into the process.
Any last? We'll make it a short last question.
You mentioned a bunch of different technical problems you're solving. One was heat dissipation, and then another, I think you said signal loss and frequency interference. You know, some of that stuff is AI generative, and some of that is generally analog communication chips. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's
just a couple sentences.
As you're pushing more and more data through high frequencies, you get more and more EMF interference with the materials underneath, and that has finally exposed glass fiber as a real problem. It was fine in the past, but today an alternative is required, and there is only one alternative.
Thank you, Andy, for that presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Fernando Celaya Prieto, CEO of Floatech.
Good morning. You know, mobility is responsible of 30% of the global CO2 emissions. And although we know that the electrification is the solution, the transition is very slow. The bottleneck today is the anode. The anode is responsible of storage the energy and is made of graphite. Graphite is included in the critical rare material list of the European Union. And because mainly the limitation, fundamental limitation in the performance, and also risk of supply. We, Floatech, developed a technology called C-coil with material that is silicon, 100% silicon, 10 times more storage capacity than graphite, nanotechnology and porous structure, which solved the fundamental mode of fail of the silicon anodes, and a technology patented that is capable to make competitive, scalable, and sustainable process. The market is very big, 28% year-by-year growth, with 50 billion in 2035 in silicon anodes. Our model is B2B, selling to our customer OEMs in commercial electronics and automotive, and also manufacturers of cells and batteries. We have a plant in Madrid processing 1 megawatt hour a year, to serve our six customers in the 3 continents. We are validated by EU. We have 3 cells of excellence and a cell of strategic. We are strategic because we remove the graphite. We have freedom to operate, well protected and defended with 3 patent families, first one granted, and freedom to operate in all the big major battery markets. Our team is built for industrialization. We have a long experience growing double-digit companies in energy and electronics and transferring technology from the lab to the fab. We are 10 people working right now. We are in the TRL6. We recently received the accelerator program. We are moving to the TRL8, and we will go to commercialization in 2029. We are looking now for a lead VC that join us to go to market, scale up, finalize our digital team, and improve our team to make this. And it's not only performance, it's also sustainability. We spend 35% less energy and a footprint of 86% lower. Thank you very much.
Gracias, Fernando. Thank you for your pitch. Any jury questions?
Hello, Fernando. Thank you for your pitch. This is Nachi from JP Morgan. A quick question for you. What is the size of the silicon anode market today? And given that graphite is recognized as such a big problem, why has silicon anode production not, why is there not more demand in the market today for this?
The first is they are no more demanded because it takes time qualification. And the market is very conservative in this sense. But silicon is a must today because solid state cannot work with graphite anymore. So this type of silicon anode or lithium metal anode is needed. And the size of the market today is like 5% of the total market. Is used mainly for premium consumers. But McKinsey in his roadmap say that by 2030 and 2035, silicon and lithium metal will be the standards.
Any other jury questions?
I don't know if I missed this, but how do you compare to other players within this market? Because I know there are quite a few.
We have 3 differentiation. First one is the process itself. Our process is designed for manufacturing, for mass manufacturing. We have to produce kilotons of nanomaterials. Our competitors use thin film conventional chemical vapor deposition. That is a process that grows atom by atom in the layer. This is very good for quality, but it's not feasible for the capacity. And we are the only one.
Sorry, Fernando. I'm going to have to cut you off.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your pitch, Fernando. Next up in the pitch challenges, we have Dr. Vicky Broadley, Chief Technical Officer at Layrr.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm Dr. Vicky Broadley. I'm CTO at Layrr. We're a UK-based materials company, and we're fundamentally changing the way that we build industrial materials. So we've heard a lot about data centers and the challenge in powering them and siting them, but I'd like to talk about the number one inefficiency in data centers, and that's heat management. 30% of energy is lost in heat. That's not only a huge financial burden and loss, but also means that GPUs are throttled and not able to operate at their full capacity. Now, heat from the processing chip is extracted through materials called thermal interface materials, and these are made of powders and polymers. Now, the problem with these materials that currently is that as heat travels through these materials in the form of phonons, it interacts with the powder interface and scatters. So phonons don't like interfaces, so that the heat gets trapped in the material, and so the whole material and the chip heats up. At Layrr, we are solving this problem at the atomic scale. Using our clean and scalable technology, we coat commodity powders with nano films which form a photonic bridge. Basically, we bridge that barrier between the matrix, the polymer, and the powder. And this allows heat to travel seamlessly through the layer. Using this technology, we're able to improve the thermal conductivity of these materials by orders of magnitude, which also translates to reduction in heating in the devices. So our business model allows us to fit into existing supply chains. At Layrr, we are the toll supplier of the powders. Our powders will then be supplied to OEM producers, which will integrate these powders into the materials and manufacture the thermal interface materials, which are then supplied to chip manufacturers. This high-end market, which I've described, is 2 billion, but that's only one portion of the thermal interface market. That market in total is actually 30 billion, and involves lots of other different formulations, which I haven't gone into today. We currently have traction and paid development contracts with several OEM suppliers who have come to us with problems asking us to solve them in terms of this problem with the boundary between the powders and the interface. We have a 1 ton per year batch production process at our factory in the UK. And we've unlocked a very fast iteration and development program, which has allowed us to look into other spaces. Now, powders are the foundation blocks for lots and lots of applications, so we're not only a thermal interface material company, we also are looking at additive manufacturing and battery technology. And finally, we're raising 2 million in seed funding to strengthen our IP moat and unlock valuable commercial contracts. We have a grant of 1 million awarded in batch funding, and we're ready to talk to people at the event, so please come and speak to me after the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Broadley, for your presentation. Any jury questions?
Hey, Arfa from Klima. Question on how difficult it is to produce your nanomaterials.
So we use technology called PVD, physical vapor deposition, which is actually a very well-established technology. So we haven't invented that. What our proprietary technology is how we handle that on powders. So we're using decades of experience. I come from the thin film and PVD community. I've worked in research for 20 years. So what we're doing is applying that knowledge to actually putting it on powders. And where the IP exists is in controlling that coating and providing conformal coating and quality powders. So that's where our innovation is. But PVD is scalable. It's already been scaled, so we're not having to solve those problems. We're just fitting into existing kind of technology there.
Any other jury? There's one here.
Hi, thank you for the pitch. I was curious if you see a pathway from scaling past batch production process to a more continuous production process.
Yes, absolutely. So at the moment we have a batch production process because obviously it's the easiest place to start. But it's very our timeline takes us to continuous process. So vacuum systems have basically load lock systems where you can continuously feed powders through. So yes, our business model relies on that continuous feeding of powders. The other reason to do that is because many of the powders we're dealing with are actually quite difficult to deal with. They're harmful, they can be quite hazardous. So having a kind of completely locked down continuous process is advantageous from a health and safety point of view as well.
Perfect. We're just out of time for the questions.
Okay.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thanks very much.
Next up, we have Maria Joao Gonçalves Maia, CEO and co-founder of Lenera. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. At Lenera, we commit to a new era of luxury. In the next slide, I'm showing a picture, and I want you to carefully look at the picture, because more than 2 million animals die each year to supply the luxury industry. Exotic leather segment is essential for most luxury brands, but is both ethical and environmentally unsustainable. Beyond that, they face a long supply chain, three-year lead time, logistical hurdles, and dependency on volatile imports. And for the consumers, it's time for change. But today on the market, there are no alternatives that could mimic perfectly the exotic leather in terms of its characteristics, of its exclusivity, of its performance. And that's where Lenera comes in. We developed the first species-agnostic skin platform, which is a platform that allows us to reproduce skin from different animals that matches the same properties in terms of microstructure, in terms of mechanics, and allowing the luxury groups to continue to customize their material. This is not just a material, it is a revolution, because we cut the supply lead time from 3 years to 1 month. We are able to save energy costs at least 75%, and all that by being a dropping-in solution. The market is pulling us in. We are in conversations with 6 out of the 10 top luxury brands. We have GAAs, paid samples, and we are currently structuring multi-stage agreements with these companies. And our process is already validated. It can enter the tanning cycle, and we have good feedback also on the dye uptake, where we can also save costs. Our business model is 2 layers. We will first introduce our product to the market via selling our skin in packages to the luxury groups, and then we will transition to our core business model, which is a manufacturing as a service. We are a very diversified and skilled team with expertise in tissue engineering, in biotech management, and in fashion, and we are, of course, supported by advisors also in science, in finance, and in fashion. We are raising 1.8 million euros to get to our commercial launch later in 2027, and this commercial launch will already be at price parity, comparing to the price of the natural skin. So at Lenera, we commit to a new era of luxury, and I invite you to commit with us. And if you want to see some samples, please meet me after the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, for your presentation.
Thanks.
Any jury questions? No? Oh, there's one there.
So, thank you. My name is Gabriel Cura with Prelude Ventures. What sort of work have you done to figure out the end consumer interest in synthetic products for these high-end, sort of prestige-oriented luxury goods?
So we are in close touch with the luxury groups, and the feedback that we have from them, from their departments of innovation and new materials, is that all the things that they tried before to replace leather were not good enough, because they don't age well, they don't have the same mechanic performance, so they need something that they can still brand as very premium, with very, very premium products, with very distinctive characteristics, and on the market there are no alternatives. So they are closely working with us and validating the entry of the skin into their tanning procedure. This is mandatory for them, because they want, during tanning, we can customize the skin. So for them is mandatory to accept a new raw material, that they can still pull it in their tanning supply chain and still customize it.
Any quick question here?
Yeah, just sorry, Will from Climate Investment. If it goes really well and you manufacture and you sell to everyone, how big does the manufacturing have to be to service the whole market? I wasn't super clear on how.
In terms of
volumes, like how much of this do you have to produce?
Okay, so if we want to supply the whole market, we are talking about more than 1 million square meters a year. So it will be decentralized units, and we don't expect them to switch from the beginning. So the first manufacturing as a service licensing will be based on 5,000 square meters in each different site, and then we can grow from there.
Perfect. Obrigada, Maria.
Obrigada.
And the last pitch for this section, it's Aaike van Vugt, CEO of VSPARTICLE.
Last but definitely not least. Good morning, everybody. I hope you are still a bit awake. I hope you have seen enough, let's say, CO2 capture. I really like the Layrr case. A country of geniuses in a data center is about to arrive. I really like this phrase from the CEO of Anthropic. Imagine a country full of top-tier scientists at your disposal. It will unlock at least $1 trillion of revenue in different market segments. We already saw Anthropic buying a biotech company to enter the space of small molecule development. And it will not be long before these AI companies will enter the space of advanced materials. To start, from my perspective, we have just discovered less than 1% of all the inorganic materials. There is still 99% that humans never touched that are needed to remove material bottlenecks across different industries. A country of geniuses in a data center empowered with the right material synthesis will unlock the other 99%, in my prediction, in 1 or 2 generations. So we go from a material scarce economy to a material rich economy, enabled by this rapid movement coming from AI, robotics, and advanced material synthesis. Humans have been very successful in developing new material synthesis, but to be honest, in the inorganic space, it's a mess. There are so many different material syntheses, all of them have been optimized for a specific application. None of them have been designed from first principles for the arrival of AI. So if you connect AI to the existing synthesis, they will be able to just cover a very small fragment of the material space. So if you want to unlock the 99%, you need to be able to address in your synthesis the 99% with high precision and high granularity. You need to be able to explore at a vast space with high speed and reproducibility. Reproducibility in material synthesis is a completely different topic. I can talk to you for hours. You need to be able to get new material shipped to customers, because a model data is not valuable unless it's unlocked and economic value when a new product with that material is shipped to a customer. So you need to stretch from self-driving labs all the way to mass manufacturing. I will not dive into details how the technology should look like. As VSP, we have developed a brand new material synthesis designed for this upcoming AI age. It took us 7 years. It's not an easy thing to do, but we have been quite successful. We are shipping these high-tech systems to top-notch institutes that are building already today the most advanced self-driving labs. We have partnered with Meta to synthesize large open experimental data sets, and we are already scaling with OEM players in gas sensors and electrolyzers. But there are many more markets we would like to serve. So really think about this new category.
I'm going to have to cut you off there.
That's fine.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation.
Okay. No questions?
There's jury. Any jury questions? Here.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your product, please? What does it do?
So we have one segment of the revenue we currently generate is selling these high-end systems to top-notch institutes. But we see this more as marketing, because every work that they do, every material they discover, every application they validate is great for us. So we make roughly millions of revenue today already by shipping those products globally. We have customers in the US, Europe, and Asia. But the real revenue will come in manufacturing when the technology is deployed in series production. We are serving the OEMs today by coating new materials in-house. So they ship us their product, we coat them with these new materials, we ship them back, just to make sure that they have the best possible material today at their disposal, and we don't form delays in their adaptation into new products in the market.
Any other jury questions? No? Thank you, Aaike, for your presentation. And that sums up the Pitch Challenger session for now.